18 pairs. And what a start that is from the King's Canterbury boat in the middle of your screen.
Oh, absolutely. I think they've decided to go out hard and fast, and that's what they can do. Just see the black blades of Molesey there, and Cantabrigian just on their inside. And yeah, there's all these different strategies for race, and everybody has their own different race plans. Some people go out very hard and fast. Some people have the confidence to know that they've got a very strong second half of the race. They'll all have discussed this with their coaches, and the first final of the day. And as Fergus has said, King's Canterbury, what a flying start they got there.
Yeah, King's Canterbury looking to get out ahead, because one of those great advantages in rowing is that when you're leading, you can see the back of your opposition, and what a feeling that is. So King's Canterbury in position A, the driving seat, as we head on towards the 500 metre mark in this first final of the day. Going with them though, it is Molesey next to them in lane number 2, and closest to the tower side of the bank it is Cantabrigian, the Cambridgeshire crew as well. But yes, we can see there as the camera pans out, cracking start to the race from the King's School Canterbury.
Well, they're managing to maintain that pace as well, because often crews go off hard and fast and then just die a little afterwards, but they are managing to maintain that acceleration as they come through towards 500 metres. And in fact, they've increased their lead substantially, I would say. Just as we come up to the line there, we'll get an idea of how much of a lead they do have, and it is quite a margin.
That's been an outstanding first 500 metres from the King's Canterbury pair, and I have been reliably informed that this pair has been selected to represent England at next weekend's home international regatta. So they had the trials for that about a week or so ago, so they're just using the British Junior Championships as an opportunity to get as much racing under their belt as possible, and they're really setting a marker for the rest of the UK for next weekend's international racing.
Oh, it's interesting you should say that, because I'm sure some of the other countries' coaches will be watching this and just seeing what a blistering start this pair have. But then there was a fantastic race for the minor medals there between Molesey, Clare's Court, Cantabrigian, and yeah, it's still an ongoing battle there. If King's Canterbury can maintain this pace, this rhythm, they look unassailable, but there are other medals to be awarded in this race, so it's all out to play for.
Absolutely. Molesey Boat Club sitting there in lane 2, looking very strong as we move on towards the 1,000 metre point. Yeah, this second 500, crews often talk about settling into their race rhythm, making sure they stay in their boats at this point. You don't really want to be looking out too much. You want to be focused on what you're doing in your crew, making sure that you've got a nice bulletproof rhythm as you head on towards the halfway point. And King's Canterbury very much doing that, heading towards the halfway point in this final of the Open Junior Under 18 pairs.
Absolutely, and really looking powerful through the water there, just as the blade's going in, just levering the boat past it. They are looking very, very good indeed. Pairs are quite twitchy boats. You have to, Camilla and I were talking about this earlier, that you have to have supreme confidence in your pairs partner to be able to row a pair well. And this is a nice looking pair from King's Canterbury, because they do look very solid indeed, don't they?
Yeah, they're coping very well with this headwind conditions we have just blowing up here at Home Pier Point in Nottingham. But as they enter the third 500, they're going to start to put a burst on, making sure they completely shut out the rest of the field, as they are very much in position A, leading this. And what a lead they have over the rest of the field. We'll just wait for the next crews to come through, and over on the far side it is Clare's Court School, who lead Molesey and Weybridge by just about a length as we head through the halfway point. And what a race we have on our hands for that bronze medal between Weybridge and Molesey.
Cantabrigian are also up there. They haven't fallen off the back of the race, though. The crew that is off the back of the pace is Ross Rowing Club over in lane 6. You'll see their blue kit maybe, but this is Molesey just in the centre of a screen, Cantabrigian, and out in front. Look at that margin, Fergus. I thought that they'd gone out hard and fast and would maybe settle just keeping a comfortable 2 or 3 lengths, but they are actually increasing their lead as they go down the course. So they are incredibly strong to be able to maintain that acceleration and that rhythm and pace. But it's Clare's Court School there, just the white crew you can see at the left-hand side of your screen, just coming into that second place now.
Yeah, Clare's Court, of course, famed for their sculling programme that they have in place there. Multiple winners of the Folly Challenge Cup at Henley Regatta, but here they've switched 2 blades for 1, and here they are having a crack at the under 18 pairs, and they're just holding on to that silver medal behind King's Canterbury, the very dominant pair from King's Canterbury we see on the screen now. But as we just look to the bottom left, we are now underway with the next race on the course, which is the final B of the J16 Coxed Fours.
But in the main screen we still see this King's Canterbury pair just cruising along there, and they are just at a cruising pace now, but it's a very effective, very efficient cruising pace. Just gone through 500 metres to go. They've raced 1500 metres, and this crew have certainly raced 1500 metres, and they are not letting up. They are not sitting on their laurels. They are still racing it all the way out. As you said, Fergus, if they got selection for next weekend, the Home Countries International, they will be using this as part of their race plan, executing the race plan that they think they may need. Clare's Court School in that second place, Weybridge now in third, with Molesey having been overtaken by Canterbridgian, I think.
Yeah, it's a very good third 500 there from the Weybridge pair. They've just started to pull away from Molesey Boat Club, etching in some lead ahead of them. So they're looking confident in the third place position, looking set to take the bronze medal. And as we come into the last quarter of the race, it is King's Canterbury leading Clare's Court in the silver medal position, ahead of Weybridge sitting in lane number 4. And we can now see from our camera up on top of the National Water Sports Centre.
We can see Molesey and Canterbridgian. I think Clare's Court and Weybridge and King's Canterbury are so far in front we can't get them all in the same shot at the same time, and you know that's an amazing place to be in a pair in this phase of the race. And there we go, just panning further right, we can see Weybridge in the blue, we can see Clare's Court, and out in front of those we will still have King's Canterbury, because they had such a lead early on. Just see the tail of their boat there just as we pan out, and that's the lead they have over the rest of the field. Nice place to be in, Fergus, would
Absolutely.
you say?
They're definitely not going to forget that view for a long time. They've got the entire course behind them, and they're coming through the Red Boys with less than 100 metres to go, and it's been a fantastic final for the King's School Canterbury, and they look set to take the first medal of today, gold medal in the Open Junior Under 18 Coxless pairs, and it's been a fantastic performance from them. They've blown away the rest of the field, and that's the gold medal standard for this afternoon, Carol.
Well, absolutely, and they're doing it in style. Look at the distance between them and their following crews, and that is a big, big margin, and justifiable selection for the Home International then. Second place with Clare's Court, and then we have Weybridge just coming over the line there. Good performance from these pairs too, and you know, early on I thought Molesey were in with a chance. I thought Canterbridgian just winning that battle with Molesey there to take fourth. And that's the black boat of Molesey coming in over the line now.
Yes, it will be Ross Rowing Club who wrap up this A final of the Open Junior Under 18 pairs, but we're now going to head up the course and we're going to join the second race of this afternoon. This is the B final of the Open Junior Under 16 Coxed 4. Lane 1 is 1863, Clare's Court go in lane 2, St Leonard's School in 3, Great Marlow in 4, and Queen Elizabeth High School across on the far side of the course in lane number 5.
So we did see some pictures earlier on in the small screen, and the action was all happening with the bright red boats in the middle of the course. That's St Leonard's School, we can see in the bright red there, and that's 1863 just leading them out at the moment. We've got Great Marlow School on the outside of St Leonard's School. I can't see the white of Clare's Court yet, but it's 1863 leading just as they come past us here.
Yes, 1863 really attacking this race with everything they've got. trying to prove that although they missed out on the A final, they're going to give everything they have to this B final, just to see how their times compare and if they would have had a shot in the A final. But they're looking very strong, really aggressive rhythm in that 1863 crew, and they lead this B final of the J16 Coxed fours as we head through 1,000 metres.
Absolutely. Big spread in this race. I think maybe the headwind and the amount of racing that these athletes have done into headwinds over the weekend may be taking its toll. But a really nice performance from 1863 with St Leonard's School in that second place, Great Marlow School after them, Clare's Court, and then Queen Elizabeth High. So this is the B final. These are for the placings. There's only 5 crews in this, so this would be 7 to 11 in the British rankings. So it's all to play for, actually, to have a ranking behind your name at this level is very, very good indeed. 1863 still leading as we look down the course.
That's a cracking view, that one, Carol. Just straight down the... And for once here at Nottingham, the sun is out. We do have the wind, but at least it is bright sunshine here.
Oh, it is. It
makes such a difference compared to yesterday's torrential rain that we had. But it is 1863 here and now leading this B final. Going with them a few lengths back, it is St Leonard's School and Great Marlow. What a race those two crews are having for the second and third place positions.
Indeed they are, and both Coxes will be looking over at each other and just gauging where they are in relation to each other. But it's 1863 leading this B final of the Open Junior 16 Coxed fours.
Yeah, they've really etched out to quite a lead over the rest of the field. They're used 3-4 lengths ahead of St Leonard's and Great Marlow. And it is Bible to Bible stuff in those two crews. And it looks like it is St Leonard's School who just has the advantage as we come through with 500 metres to go in this race.
And we've just seen the A final just setting off in the small screen there, just on the start, and I'm sure we'll get back to that shortly. They all look to see, to my eye, just to have a cracking start. So yes, we'll be moving to that very shortly. But we've still got this B final underway, and it's still 1863 really motoring on there. St Leonard's School and Great Marlow School just having their own private battle. I think Great Marlow School just eclipsed by the insert there that we can see, but it's still 1863 leading as they have done for the last 1,000 metres or so. Leading, probably increasing their lead as they come towards the finish. And I think maybe Great Marlow School have overtaken St Leonard's School there. What do you think, Fergus?
I think coming through 250 metres to go, Great Marlow have just put the burners on and they're charging. It's probably one of their last races of the summer, so they want to give it everything they've got. And yeah, it does look as if Great Marlow School just pushed their bows out in front as we come into the last 20-30 strokes or so. The last 20-30 strokes of what's been very successful seasons for these clubs. But they want to finish on a high here in the B final and put on a show for the spectators on the bank and for us watching on the YouTube channel.
Oh, absolutely. And I just think Great Marlow School, we've got a funny angle here. I think, oh yes, Great Marlow School not into the Red Boys yet, so it's still 1863 still have that lead. I could see the Cox just glance round there just to see where Great Marlow School were, just to make sure that his crew and his athletes were still in front, just giving them that last little bit of encouragement just to go through that line in that first place. What an effort from Great Marlow School there though, because they were level with St Leonard's School for such a long part of the race. They've had a good last 500.
Yeah, very good last 500 metres from Great Marlow School. It moved out to Clearwater over St Leonard's School from Durham. And those will be your top 3 crews in the B final of the Open J16 Coxed fours. And I think at this point we'll take the opportunity to head back up the course and join the A final of this event. And we'll give you the rundown for this. In lane 1 we have Llandaff Rowing Club, Aberdeen Schools, their B crew in 2. In lane 3 we have a composite of Aberdeen Schools and Eton College. Aberdeen Schools A crew in lane 4, Walton in 5, and Queen's Park High School in lane 6. And Carol, you must be beaming with all this black and white from Aberdeen in this race.
Well, I can hardly hold myself onto my seat. I'm sort of trying to stop jumping up and down because this is just so exciting. I cannot ever recall having such strength in Aberdeen Sculls in the junior 16 level, and to have 3 crews in the A final, or 3.5 crews in the A final, is just so exciting for me. And you know, that's the A crew there that we're just focusing in on. They came represented the GB France match just last weekend, the weekend before, and won that. So got high hopes for them indeed.
Yes, that is a fine display of J16 Coxed 4s racing. Going with them though, in lane 3, it is the composite crew. It is Eton College and Aberdeen Schools.
Yeah, the composite came second to them in the trials for the GB France match. So yes, great to see just how good these are, and look how far in front of the rest of the field they are. This is just fantastic to watch. There's the other Aberdeen Schools yellow boat there just in the foreground.
Yeah, looking back, it does look to be Aberdeen Schools looking set to take medals in all 3 positions, gold, silver and bronze.
No,
So
I'm not sure about that. I was just wondering if Walton might spoil that party. And out in their the other side, we have Queen's Park High School. So yeah, this is shaping up to be such a cracking race. Well, what a performance from Aberdeen Schools. I'm just so happy for them because I know how hard these guys have worked through the winter, as all these athletes have. You have to do the training through the winter to get good performances in the summer. So in this case, it's certainly paying off. Here we come, just getting a side-on view just as they come up, about 500 metres to go, and it will be nice to just see what an advantage they have, just where they are in relation to everybody else. Well, yeah, absolutely. They've obviously gone out hard and fast, and 500 metres to go, that is a comfortable margin to have. Second place is with the Eton Aberdeen Schools composite, and that's another nice comfortable margin.
Looking very good. So those first 2 positions, Luke locked down Aberdeen Schools in first and second place with Eton as well. Walton Rowing Club pushed up into 3rd place, and they have Clearwater over Queen's Park High School over on the far side. So those are your 4 crews. 5th place is held by that B crew from Aberdeen Schools Rowing Association. So closest to us, it will be Llandaff Rowing Club, just holding 6th place at the moment, but with 500 metres to go. It's been a cracking first 1,500 metres from the boys from the Granite City.
Yes, it's just such a cracking race. I do enjoy watching junior 16 events because I think you're starting to see potential of what may follow as they reach junior 18, and having a marker like this at this age is just a great performance to have.
Yeah, definitely. The J16 event's a real springboard into the Junior 18 trialling system for the Great Britain team, and with the international experience already for that top Azure 4 at the GB France match, they'll be very much excited for what the future has to hold for them. So we're just coming into the last few stages, and our small screen on the left hand side is now showing us the B final of the women's J18 Coxless 4s. So we'll just watch that down in the left for a little bit, but we'll bring you all the action for this A final happening on our screens at the moment.
And it's still Aberdeen Schools with a commanding lead, it would have to be said, and I say that, you know, sort of tempering what I'm saying. I don't want to be too biased, but yes, I would say that was an impressive lead. Just coming there, and they will be delighted with that performance. I know the coaches will be too. And second place with the Aberdeen Schools Eton composite, and well done to all these athletes. Wow, that is a margin from these 2 crews. And then it's Walton taking that bronze medal position.
Yeah, Walton of course have had a fantastic junior sweep program these past few years, so great to see them here picking up a medal. And over on the far side it will be Queen's Park High School come through in that that position, 4th place. No one wants to come 4th, but it is Queen's Park High School who finish, and they will be followed by the 2nd crew from Aberdeen Schools Rowing Association. So here we are with that B final on screen now. B final for the women's J18 Coxless Fours, and here are your crews. In lane 1 it is Great Marlow School, Pangbourne College in 2, Stratford upon Avon in 3, Henley Rowing Club, their B crew in lane number 4. Next to them it is Weybridge in 5, and City of Oxford go in lane number 6.
And here we go, Stratford upon Avon making a nice showing there. You can just see them in lane 3. Henley in the white with the dark blue blades just on the right side. And then we have the pale blue of Weybridge on their outside. And then further right we have the City of Oxford. And it's the Henley crew making an early showing again. Just getting out there, getting themselves out of any danger from being caught by any other crew, but they've not pulled themselves apart from Stratford upon Avon there, I think.
No, we've just gone through the 1,000 metre mark, halfway in this B final of the J18 Coxless Fours, and Henley Rowing Club are leading, but only just. They have about a half a length lead over Stratford upon Avon, and this is a fight that could go down all the way to the wire. These two crews just starting to etch out ahead of the rest of the field. Now, of course, Henley Rowing Club, one of these outstanding junior programs that we could talk for hours about. But sadly, we've only got a few hundred metres to go in this one. But over on the far side, it is Weybridge holding on to 3rd place in this B final of the J18 Fours.
And then we can just see Great Marlow School in the red at the front of the picture in the red boat, and Pangbourne College just in the white boat behind them. They're sort of taking up the tail end of the field, but it's Henley certainly out there leading with overlap with Stratford upon Avon over on the far side. Weybridge still also in contention, and then on their outside we'd see the City of Oxford.
Yeah, so just down in the bottom left of your screens you'll see the A final for this event, just going through 500 metres, and we'll pick that up later on. We're just going to stick with the B final as we head on down towards the last 250 metres or so of that race.
And from my eye, I think maybe Henley have managed to pull themselves away from Stratford upon Avon now, just broken away, giving themselves clear water, and just seem to be moving away from Stratford upon Avon in this B final.
Yes, Henley Rowing Club, famed for their junior rowing programme, but recently we've seen fantastic results from their junior men as well. Of course, 3 quads qualifying for the Folly Challenge Cup, which was a remarkable feat. So Henley Rowing Club very dominant in both the junior men and junior women, as we can see that here in this B final. They've really etched out ahead of Stratford upon Avon, who just weren't quite able to cope with their pace in the 3rd 500. Stratford upon Avon, though, it's still with clear water over Weybridge over on the far side of the course.
Yes, nice performance from Weybridge there, and these 3 crews are managing to pull themselves away from the following pack. It's just a nice shot from on top of the tower, so you can see the crews coming towards us, this nice chevron pattern with Henley in the peak of the chevron leading the charge towards the line. And just on the small screen we can just see how the other the A final is progressing, and I can see just a delight there to see the Scottish Composite doing so well.
Absolutely.
Fergus, there's no bias in this.
No, you'll get no bias from us here on the YouTube live stream. But yes, it is the Scottish Composite. It is Inverness, St Andrew Boat Club and Loch Lomond. It's sort of a Scottish junior development for it that's been put together by Lee Boucher and Mike Martin. So they raced at Henley Women's Regatta as well, putting together some fantastic races in the aspirational fours. And here they are at the British Rowing Junior Championships, leading the A final of the J18 Coxless Fours.
Yes, but meanwhile we're still with the B final in the bigger screen, and it's still Henley leading as they come in with about 250 metres to go. Still Henley leading. In fact, they've pulled themselves some distance in front of Stratford-upon-Avon there. Weybridge still in that third place as they come down. They're almost into the Red Boys, about 100 metres to go, and that will be them finishing in their B final. You can just see the bows of the Stratford boat just coming into shot there, but it's Henley just coming towards us as they head towards the line. Into the Red Boys, they know where they are on the course, they know how much further they've got to row, and just picking it up as they go towards the finish line.
Yeah, fantastic row there from Henley Rowing Club. Just a few strokes to go in their B final. Very dominant performance from them as they cross the line, winning the B final of the Women's J18 Coxless Fours, ahead of Stratford-upon-Avon, who will take second, and over on the far side it will be Weybridge Rowing Club who take third place in this B final.
So just watching the B final, we hopefully will pan up to the A final now, because I think that is coming rapidly down the course towards us, Fergus.
I know, here we are. The A final, Lane 1, Marla Rowing Club, Glasgow Academy in 2, Nottinghamshire County Rowing Association in 3. The current leaders, the Scottish Composite, St Andrew, Loch Lomond and Inverness Rowing Club, Tideway Scullers in 5, and in Lane 6 on the far side, Walton Rowing Club.
And just on the screen, just going past, we saw the Composite, St Andrew Boat Club, Loch Lomond, Inverness leading, Notts County in second place, Glasgow Academy in third. Out on the far side, it's the Tideway Scullers crew vying for that third place with Glasgow Academy, and we've got not very long in this race to go, and still it's a Scottish Composite leading the charge.
Been a very good first part of this race for the Scottish Composite crew, but we're going to start running out of water quite soon if Tideway Scullers want any chance of pushing their bows into medal contention. Nottinghamshire County, they're in the bright green kit holding on to second place, but in the purple boat closest to us it is the Scots from Glasgow just starting to make their charge towards the line. They've sensed an opportunity to sneak in to claim a Scottish 1-2. And they just seem to be pulling away from Tideway Scullers over on the far side.
Yes, I think they possibly saw the danger that they were in and maybe losing that third place, and maybe they thought, yeah, it's time to have a go at Notts County and just see what we can do. But it's the Scottish Composite just really powering on through as they come down with less than 250 metres to go. It's second place still with Notts County, Glasgow Academy just lifting it there just to sort of consolidate their place in that third place, and it's Tideway Scullers fourth, and on their outside it is Walton in fifth at the moment.
Yes, I was saying it this morning out on the lakeside. Clearly all these Scottish crews have had their porridge oats this morning. They've fueled up because we've seen some fantastic performances, and here's another one, an outstanding display of junior women's sweep rowing. And it will be the Scottish Composite crew, Inverness Rowing Club, St Andrew Boat Club and Loch Lomond take first place and gold medal in this, the Women's Junior Under 18 Coxless Fours. Silver will go to Notts County Rowing Association, with fellow Scots Glasgow Academy taking bronze and third place. Yes, they somewhat left Tideway Scullers behind in that final 500 metres or so.
Absolutely.
The line in fourth place.
Yes, at one stage I thought Tideway Scullers could make a move there, but no, they didn't manage to do it. But great racing here this afternoon, Fergus. Just so good.
Fantastic racing here.
So I think we're probably going to be panning up to the next race on our programme, moving from the Women's Junior 18 Coxless Fours to the Women's Junior 16 Quad Sculls. The B final is underway. Just going through 1,000 metres now. And the fun is just not stopping this afternoon.
Non-stop fun here at the National Water Sports Centre for the British Rowing Junior Championships. This is the B final for the Women's J16 Quad. Lane 1 is Abingdon Rowing Club, Durham Amateur go in Lane 2, Llandaff Rowing Club in 3, Great Marlow School in 4, Moseley Boat Club in 5, and on the far side of the course, Queen's Park High School in lane number 6.
And just confirming that Molesey went through the first 1,000 metre in the first place, Llandaff in second, Great Marlow School third, Durham fourth, and Abingdon in fifth. Less than 10 seconds, 12 seconds separating these 6 crews. That's not very much at all at 1,000 metres, Fergus. Just, yeah, it could all change, couldn't it?
Yeah, particularly between those top 3 crews. We've got 4 seconds, no more than a couple of boat lengths between Molesey, Llandaff and Great Marlow School. So it's all to play for as we head down deep into the second 1,000 metres of this B final.
And it still looks from the big screen that we're seeing here that it's Molesey and Llandaff fighting it out. Great Marlow School just slightly behind Llandaff there as they come towards us.
Yeah, what a race on our hands between Molesey and Llandaff. These 2 crews aren't going to back down from the fight. They're just going to keep knocking punches, or sort of throwing punches at each other all the way down the course, as you'd expect from 2 high quality junior quads such as these.
Oh, absolutely. Very nicely schooled there. Very good timing. Just getting these legs on and just lifting the boat up. And yeah, very nice. But it's Molesey just going out of shot there on the left hand side. We've just got a view of Llandaff in that second place. Oh, are they in second place,
Cal?
Fergus?
I think they've just put a push on, and I think it is Llandaff who have just edged their bows in front as we come into the last 500 metres. Llandaff now leading by about a length over Molesey Boat Club.
What a move.
That is how you do the damage in the third 500.
Boy, that was
very
impressive
from them.
Yeah.
Question now is, what can Molesey do to respond? Have they got anything left to respond? And we'll see as we get further down the course. Just on the bottom of your screen on the left hand side, we are going to keep one eye on the A final, and we'll bring you all that action as they come further down the course. But
still with the B final.
Still with the B final.
What a move Llandaff made there. I was just so impressive. And do you think Molesey were caught just a bit unawares there, or just
maybe Molesey
challenged?
Might have just shot out just a little bit too quickly in that first 1,000 metres or so, but Llandaff very much taking advantage of the third 500, and it's their race to lose now.
Well, indeed it is, and they're looking very strong there in that middle of that shot. Just, I think, having seen that they can get past Molesey, they just think we're going to hold on to this as long as we can. We don't want to lose this lead because we've stolen it, and we're going to hold on to it.
Yes, we're seeing all these fantastic J16 women's quads out on the course. But did you know British Rowing has a dedicated Facebook page? It's called Women on Water, and it supports female athletes. British Rowing also has a number of training days coming up for women, and they are on the 28th of July and the 4th of August. You can find out more about these events if you go to the Performance Talent page on the website for more information.
Well, it's nice to see so many junior women rowing, and in fact the explosion in women's rowing in Britain, it's just a delight for me. Yes. Anyway, back on the screen, back with the race. It's still Llandaff, and having stolen that lead, they are inching away from Molesey. Molesey in danger of being caught there by...
That's what a move we're seeing from
Durham, I think. Just flying up the course.
It's been a spectacular final 250 metres from Durham Amateur Rowing Club, but there we see Llandaff after that fantastic third 500 move, and it looks like it will be Durham Amateur Rowing Club.
Wow.
An excellent turn of speed from them in the last 250 metres, who pit Molesey into third, and it will be Great Marlow School fourth, with Abingdon coming across at the bottom of your screen now. So wrapping up this B final will be Queen's Park High School, who will come across the top of your screen just now.
And hopefully we'll move on up to the A final, and yes, we will be joining the A final, and they are well done the course. In this we have Stourport in lane 1, Chester Le Strait, George Watson's in lane 2, Henley A in lane 3, Isle of Ely, Rob Roy in lane 4, Wallingford in lane 5, and Evesham in lane 6. And it's in fact, I do remember watching this Isle of Ely Rob Roy composite earlier on, all wearing Isle of Ely kit, and I'm sure Camilla and I were both commenting on them, but really had a strong performance in the semi-finals earlier this morning, as did Henley in the other semi-final.
And they're doing it again just now.
Well, I was really excited to see how they would perform against each other in the final, and now here we are, and we can see how they're performing against each other, and it's Isle of Ely composite taking the honours there, which is great to watch.
A fantastic performance there from that composite crew. You quite often see a lot of these clubs coming together to compete in composites here at the British Rowing Junior Championship, so it's good to see all these clubs combining just to produce the best quality racing possible for us to watch. You've always got to be wary of those composites when they come in, because you never quite know. One clearly bringing all the firepower in this final
absolutely.
of the J16 quads.
And just panning up to watch the women's junior 15 doubles just briefly, but we're going to come back to just the finishing phases of the women's junior 16 quad sculls A final, and it's the Isle of Ely composites still leading that field as they come towards us. Henley in that second place, the bright red of Wallingford on their outside. I think the angle we've got is pretty deceptive. I don't know, though. I think Wallingford are maybe up there, are they? Fergus, what do you think?
It's hard.
We've got this funny angle there from the top of the tower. Certainly Isle of Ely in the lead.
Isle of Ely very much in control as we hit the red boys with 100 metres to go in this A final of the women's J16 quad. Sitting behind them, I think it is still Henley Rowing Club.
Still Henley, but
Henley
Wallingford moving on as we speak.
Wallingford currently holding on to that third place bronze medal position, and just out of shot it is the Chesterley Street George Watson's College composite in fourth. But coming up to the line, a fantastic display of sculling from the Isle of Ely Rob Roy composite. They crossed the line first, gold medal to them, and it will be Henley Rowing Club about a length back who take silver. The composite crew delighted, punching the water, ecstatic with their win here, and it will be Wallingford who sneak a fantastic bronze medal. Fourth place will go to Chesterley Street George Watson's College, and they'll be gutted just to miss out on the medals.
Oh, indeed. But some great racing we're having this afternoon.
Yes, and we're just now going to pan back up, and we can see just heading off down the course, it is the B final of the women's J15 double sculls. Tyne Rowing Club's B crew go in 1, Aberdeen Schools their A crew in lane 2, City of Oxford's A crew in lane 3, Tideway Scullers School in 4, York City in 5, and wrapping up this B final on the far side it is Glasgow Academy.
And boy, there's nothing in it this early on, is there? It is the City of Oxford we can see.
I think we've got a race on our hands between City of Oxford and next to them in lane 2 Aberdeen Schools.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see Tideway Scullers just being dropped there over in the background.
Yes, as they went through the 500 metre point, it was Tyne Rowing Club who went through in third place, and we'll get a good idea of how things have changed when we pan round at the 1,000 metre mark. But yes, from here it does look like it's looking pretty neck and neck between the City of Oxford and the Aberdeen Schools crew. Aberdeen Schools having great successes already this afternoon, so this double will want to finish as high as possible in this B final.
Oh, absolutely. And oh, there we go. I did think we'd missed a crew. York City in front of City of Oxford, but boy, not much in it. Good grief. I would think maybe City of Oxford marginally in front, but York City less than a canvas. Aberdeen Schools just made a move there and just started lifting it as they've gone through that 1,000 metre mark.
Yes, Aberdeen Schools have just kicked on, but going with them, not far behind, is Tyne Rowing Club closest to us. And great to see on the far side, York City Rowing Club also up there. So we've got 3 crews very much in contention for that first place finish, and it's only going to heat up as we get further down the course. Aberdeen Schools, City of Oxford and York City, your 3 leading crews at the moment. as we head on down the course into the second half of this, the B final of the women's J15 double sculls.
Oh, I know. It's just excitement after excitement. I think, yes, there's possibly the crew in lane 6, Glasgow Academy, out in front there, or maybe they're also still in contention. It's really quite hard to gauge the distance there. I can see the black of Aberdeen Schools, I can see the colours of City of Oxford, and then we've got Tideway colours, and then outside of them, oh no, that's York City. I do apologise. I just couldn't quite get the differential colours there of York City. But yeah, these three crews, it could go any way.
Could go any way, yes. And we just have a quick look down in the bottom left screen. We can see that the A final is up and running, the A final of the women's J15 double sculls. We'll keep one eye on that, but we're firmly focused on this B final because we have a race on our hands away here on day 3 of the British Rowing Junior Championships. Aberdeen Schools, City of Oxford, and on the far side York City. From my eyes, I think Aberdeen Schools have just edged their bows in front.
Well, I think that move they made, just coming off the 1,000 metres, just managed to inch their way in front. But City of Oxford sticking with them like glue, as are York City. So they've got a battle on their hands if they want to maintain that advantage. And yeah, absolutely, they are working hard to just stick on it, aren't they? Oh, we'll just get them as they go through this next timing point, hopefully. Yeah, there they go. And I think it was going to be Aberdeen Schools leading City of Oxford with York City in 3rd place. And then
it's going to be a crew from the northeast. It is Tyne Rowing Club going through in 4th position. For those extra gears to start going through as they get towards the end of this race.
Well, we'll probably start hearing the cheers from the crowds, and whilst I was out there earlier, I was standing at 750 metres and you could actually hear the crowds from the finish just blowing up in the wind, and it was just lovely to hear the supports for some of these crews, especially when the races are very tight. And you know, it does lift the crews, it does give you that little extra edge, and it doesn't matter what people say. If you just hear your name, you just sit up a bit more, and it just gives you a bit more of support, a bit. It's an indescribable feeling, but it does help.
It absolutely does, and it's great to see so many people coming down here to the banks to watch. It's also great seeing so many parents, families, coaches cycling with the crews as well, giving them all the encouragement down the race. We've got one eye on the race in the bottom left screen. That's the A final of the women's J15 double. They've just gone through the 500 metre mark. But up on the big screen, we're coming into the last 250 metres of the B final. And it is still the black and white Aberdeen Schools Rowing Association leading this ahead of City of Oxford. They've still not rolled over yet, City of Oxford. They're going to keep fighting all the way to the end of this one. And over on the far side, it looks like York City still have a firm grasp on 3rd place position. The geese just flying out the way as Aberdeen Schools come hurtling through into the red boys. And they look set to take 1st place in this B final.
Oh, indeed. And as you said, so much credit to City of Oxford, because they are just not giving up at all. They are still fighting on, and they've still got overlap between the boats. So City of Oxford just holding on there as much as they can. Aberdeen Schools just lifting it as they sprint towards the line, and just putting in that last sprint with managing to get clear water over City of Oxford, with York City just taking that 3rd place in this B final of the women's junior 15 double sculls.
Yes, and just coming through now in 4th place is Tyne Rowing Club from the northeast of England, coming through in 4th position. And next up we will have the crew of Tideway Sculls School, of course based out of that famous boathouse on Chiswick. But now we're riding with the A final of the women's J15 doubles, and we'll give you the roll call for that. Lane 1 is Hexham Rowing Club, Marlow in 2, Maidenhead in 3, Wycliffe Junior Rowing in 4, Nottingham and Union in 5, and Monmouth Comprehensive going on the far side in lane number 6. And it is Maidenhead Rowing Club who have just etched themselves out into a comfortable lead in this A final, Carol.
I know, and if you've been commentating most of the day, and I think both Fergus and I have in different places, it's great to watch the semi-finals and then actually a couple of hours later see the finals and just see how these really fast crews that have come through the semi-finals react when they're pitted up against another fast crew from the other semi-final. And Maidenhead were very impressive in their semi-final earlier this morning. And yeah, they're doing really well here. And I think they've managed to sort of shake loose any aspirant hopes from anybody else in the field. It's Maidenhead and Wycliffe were looking very good too, as were both Marlow and Nottingham and Union. You can just see the Hexham boat there with the pale blue colours, yellow blades, just going very strongly too. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Oh, here we go. Try and get the shot. Oh, a bit of a wobble there in that boat. Did you see it? Somebody just bounced their blade off a buoy.
Yes, now's not the time to have a wobble as you get to the business end of the A final of the women's J15 double sculls. They went through 1,000 metres and Maidenhead had 5 seconds on the crew from Nottingham and Union, and they still look like they're holding that advantage. Maidenhead leading as we close in towards 500 metres to go. Nottingham and Union sitting comfortable in second place, but only just ahead of Wycliffe Juniors in the middle of the course in lane number 4.
I think that Maidenhead double has just lifted it as they've come into this last little phase. They just seem to have found another gear, another motor. They're just starting to throw everything at it, just to pull themselves away from that Nottingham and Union double scull. Just 500 metres to go, and they've managed to achieve that. Just that last few strokes, just doing enough to pull themselves adrift. Nottingham and Union second place, with Wycliffe in that third place, and a bit of a gap to Monmouth Comprehensive and Hexham here on the near side.
Yes, those are long, powerful strokes going down in that Maidenhead crew. They're determined to hold on, make sure they hold off any charges from Nottingham Union and Wycliffe Juniors in this last 500 metres. But they'll be hoping they've got this race wrapped up as they head towards the fans on the bank. They'll be hearing all the cheers from their Maidenhead supporters who have travelled up. It's great to see so many of them making the journey up here to the National Water Sports Centre, and they'll be delighted with their crew's performance. It is still Maidenhead Rowing Club leading ahead of Nottingham Union, and then Wycliffe just holding on to that bronze medal position.
Yes, there's a bit of a gap between Wycliffe and Hexham, and I think possibly they'll manage to hold on to that position, barring any major wobbles. But a lovely performance from Maidenhead there. Just looking very strong there. Quite relaxed under the pressure as well. Not just really sort of strong and loose, just taking the time to go, just reach out, get the blades behind the rigger and lever the boat past him. But very nice double sculling there from Maidenhead. And then you can see Nottingham and Union just slightly overrating them. Just trying to more strokes a minute, try and get more boat speed, just to accumulate more boat speed just in the final phases of the race. But Maidenhead, you can see the orange boys now. They're just going to sprint towards the line just to give their supporters a bit of a show.
That has been an outstanding display of sculling from the Maidenhead double, and they will cross the line first, and they are now gold medalists in the women's J15 double sculls. They'll be followed by Nottingham and Union, who look set to take second place and the silver medal. A fantastic row from them. And it will be Wycliffe Juniors who hold on. Wycliffe in the purple kit, just crossing your line now. They take third place, bronze medal, just ahead of Hexham Rowing Club, who have had a fantastic second half of the race. But they just miss out on the medals. And up on the top of the screen, it will be Monmouth Comprehensive School coming across the line in 5th position. But we now switch from the doubles to the singles. This is the B final of the Open J15 single scull. Buell Bridge in lane 1, Marlow Rowing Club in lane 2, Tideway Scullers in 3, Maidenhead in 4, the Grange School go in lane 5, and over on the far side of the bank it is York City Rowing Club.
I was just looking up the course just to see if I thought there was another Maidenhead sculler who'd gone out hard and fast in this B final, but in fact it was the Tideway sculler who's gone out hard and fast, but not as hard and fast as the Marlow sculler, who I did wonder whether my eyes were deceiving me, whether it was a bright red I could see or a more maroony red of the Marlow colours. But it's certainly Marlow leading in this B final, with Tideway scullers in second place and Maidenhead just in that third place at the moment.
Yeah, I must say, I doff my cap to all these single scullers, these J15 single scullers, going out looking very cool, calm and collected in these headwind conditions, making light work of it, I must say. Particularly, yes, the Tideway sculler Ben Sod sitting in lane number 3, going with him though Parsons of Marlow Rowing Club, and we're just starting to see a bit of a move from Harlow of Maidenhead Rowing Club as we approach the next timing point.
Indeed, very very bright green boat there, quite distinctive. But I wouldn't say there was very much separating these three scullers. Nothing between Marlow, Tideway scullers nor Maidenhead there. They're look to be pretty evenly matched as well as they're coming towards us just at this timing point.
Yeah, these scullers will likely have raced each other all throughout the season, whether it's been singles, doubles or quads, and now they have one final showdown before the summer break in these single sculls. And what a race we have on our hands here as we go through. It is Marlow Rowing Club, that is Parsons of Marlow, just leading Ben Sod of Tideway scullers, who in turn has about a half a length lead over Harlow of Maidenhead. Going through in fourth place, it is Gray of the Grange School, and on the far side with fifth, it is Orksov of York City, just ahead of Lewis of Beale Bridge. But your three leading scullers at the moment, Marlow, Tideway scullers, Maidenhead, in that order as we head down the course towards 500 metres.
But these three scullers are having their own private battle. They are none of them are giving up. It's Marlow leading, but not by much. Tideway scullers stick. All these three scullers, there are overlap of the boats, so nobody's got clear water. Nobody's got the advantage. I think the Tideway sculler is just starting to lift it now as they come into this last little phase, and just trying to have a pop at Marlow to see what Marlow has got under his belt, whether he can reply to that challenge. But also going with them is the Maidenhead sculler. They all know where they are in the course. They all know what they need to do now, and they don't want to finish this race having anything left in the tank. They just want to finish it out and just do as best as they can.
Yeah,
and great racing to see these three scullers.
Yeah, neither of these three scullers will be feeling comfortable at this point. Not just in the pain that they're feeling, but also in the position they're in terms of their race as well. I think, from my eyes, it looks to be Marlow Rowing Club just holding on ahead of Tideway scullers and Maidenhead. But as the camera pans around, we'll get a much better view. But it does look to be Parsons of Marlow Rowing Club has just pushed out just a little bit further. He's capitalised in these last few hundred metres, and he is now clear water advantage over Tideway scullers. What a final few hundred metres.
That was an amazing move. I wonder if he'd just been sitting on the Tideway sculler for a while and just suddenly thought 250 metres out, well, do you know what, I think I'm going to go now, and that's what he's done.
What a fantastic move.
That was an amazing move, because look at that differential. There wasn't that much before, and that's lengths there, Fergus.
That's remarkable. 500 metres, we're half a length in it between all three, and now look at it. Marlow Rowing Club, clear water over Tideway scullers, who indeed has clear water over Maidenhead Rowing Club. Over on the far side, it will be the Grange School, just pushed to the line by Beale Bridge, who will come across in fifth. And over on the far side, wrapping up this B final, it will be Orksov of York City. That was a cracking B final there. I can't wait to see what the A final has to bring.
I know. All this excitement, Fergus.
Right, and here we are on screen, the A final of the J15 single sculls, and we'll give you the lanes now. Lane 1 is Maidenhead Rowing Club, another Maidenhead sculler. Reading Rowing Club going to Gloucester in 3, Runcorn in 4, Walton are next to them in 5, and on the far side of the course it is the sculler from George Watson's College.
Well, this is interesting because I remember watching these semis, and the Gloucester sculler was miles out in front in his one, as was the Runcorn sculler in his one. So it's very much the Gloucester Hartpury sculler. No, sorry, I do apologise. It's the Gloucester sculler really leading here at the moment in this Junior 15 single sculls. He's looking incredibly strong. It's always a challenging one, I think, a single sculling race. And boy, does he have a lead there.
That's a phenomenal lead he's got going through this point ahead.
I wonder if he was, or his coach was watching what the Runcorn sculler did, because the Runcorn sculler went out hard and fast and had a big lead in his race. And he probably told the Gloucester sculler, if you want to win this, you have to go out even harder and faster and stay in front.
So yeah, we're very spread out here in this A final. Out in front it is the Gloucester Rowing Club sculler. He leads Stadin of Runcorn, who in turn is ahead of the sculler from Reading Rowing Club.
Yes, cracking performance from the Gloucester sculler there. Just really big margin in just halfway down the race, and he must have been working incredibly hard to get that margin just halfway down the race, because you don't usually see that until much further on. And he's still motoring on, as is the Runcorn sculler, the Reading sculler and the Walton sculler.
Yes, we're starting to see the Walton sculler just move up a little bit on Hutchins of Reading Rowing Club, just sensing he's going to start running out of water quite soon. So now is the point to make his move. But as we can see, commanding this race is Page of Gloucester Rowing Club, and still sitting in second place, Stadin of Runcorn Rowing Club. And I must say that is an excellent display of sculling if I've ever seen one before.
I was just watching that, Fergus, and I almost said exactly the same thing. But then I thought, no, actually, I'm just enjoying watching this, because sometimes it's so nice just to take time and watch, because we've got the luxury of having these really good camera screws. A bit of a wobble there from Gloucester, though.
Bit of a wobble.
It's a commentary kiss of death there.
We'll forget that and move on from that. But apart from that, he's looking very good.
He's into the red boys. He is sprinting towards the line there, and he will have quite a margin, I would assume, with that accelerated finish towards the line.
And what a way to win the gold medal in the Open J15 single scull. Gloucester Rowing Club have just blown away the rest of the field. Runcorn sprinting to the line will take silver. And what a race we have for the bronze medal. It was a fantastic sprint from the Walton sculler and from Reading. And it looks like
from here, possibly Walton,
possibly Reading.
Possibly Reading. That's certainly one for the finish judge. Absolutely. Because very close to call that one. But what a sprint for the line there from these two scullers. It's a difficult one. You don't want to be the one that doesn't get it, but you'll be challenged, so it's sadly somebody doesn't get it.
Sadly not. And of course you can find all results from this weekend at www.rowresults.co.uk/BRJC. Whilst you're online, make sure you follow British Rowing on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube for all the latest from this year's event. We're back on screen. We have the B final of the J18 singles. Sticking with the singles. Lane 1, it's Tyne, Norwich in 2, Globe 3, Falcon 4, York City in 5, and on the far side, Isle of Ely.
And it's not Jack, it was Jack I was telling off the other day for not letting me get a word in edgeways, but Fergus is just so excited, he just wants to hog all the limelight. But yeah, absolutely. So some really nice sculling from these Junior 18 single sculls here. And in this B final, just coming on very nicely. That's the Norwich sculler we can see there with the yellow blades in lane 2. Just in the distance, heading towards us, bright orange kit you can see, bright yellow kit, I do apologise. Just see, and then over the far side we have the York City sculler also making a good showing, and I think it's between York City and Norwich at the moment. for the lead there.
Yes, it does look to be those two scullers out in front. Orpin of York City and Baker of Norwich Rowing Club out in front. And it's the bright kids of Norwich Rowing Club there in the centre of your screen. Baker of Norwich Rowing Club leading this, the B final of the Open J18 single scull. And we can just see down in the bottom left, the A final of this event has just kicked off. And as it gets further down the course, we will bring you that as and when it pops up on the big screen. But we're going to stick with the B final. And what a display of sculling from Baker of Norwich Rowing Club. He's looking very powerful as he comes through this timing point here.
Oh, absolutely, and he's certainly pulled himself out in front of the rest of the field there. And the following field, York City over the far side, and then a blanket finish of about 3 scullers, not a finish, but a blanket going through the line of these other scullers. Tyne, Falcon, just some cracking sculling from these junior 18 single sculls. One of the possibly hardest boats to race. You're out there by yourself. It's a long way. You need a lot of mental strength, a lot of fitness to move that boat by yourself. These scullers are all rowing into a headwind. They've done their semi-finals into a headwind. It's been pretty much a headwind all weekend. So that's quite sapping in the energy levels too. But it's still Norwich leading as they've come through the 1500 metres. Falcon in that second place and Tyne now in third. But not much in it between these scullers. Isle of Ely, I would say, is possibly off the pace there in lane 6. But not much between Globe and York City either.
Absolutely. Your Norwich very much in control. But the race for that second place very much on. We've got, as Carol said, Falcon, Tyne and Globe. Second place can go to any one of these 3 scullers. And you can see from the camera up on the finish tower. Norwich just coming through the last few hundred metres of this race. Do you know what? I think it might be Falcon Rowing Club who have just pushed their way into second place ahead of Globe Rowing Club.
I think you're right there. I think Falcon have managed to just pull themselves adrift from Globe. Globe just lifting it there though. Just not let him get away with it. In fact, he's coming back on him, isn't he? Just
with 100 metres to go, Globe
this
Rowing
is a
Club
sprint
has
for the
clocked
finish.
Falcon, and it looks like he's rowing through. He is now rowing through Falcon Rowing Club. What a fantastic sprint. He's just found the gears as he came into the red boys. Norwich will cross the line first, but I must say, what a fantastic sprint we're seeing from the Globe Scull. I don't know where this has come from, Carol. Out of nowhere, and he's
but we saw it happening. We were just watching, and then all of a sudden,
clear water over Falcon, who's been pushed into third, and Tyne doing something similar down on the bottom of our screens.
Wow!
Has he pipped him? I don't know if he just pipped him on the line. Tyne Rowing Club. We'll
that's
see.
one for the Finnish judges. I couldn't call that. It was so close.
That one, no.
But the Finnish judges will have that. So further up the course, we're moving back to the A final of the Junior 18 single sculls. And I'll get in before Fergus this time and say, and this time we have Cambridge 99 in lane 1, Clares Court in lane 2, Gloucester Hartpury in lane 3, Rob Roy in lane 4, Rob Roy in lane 5, Gloucester Hartpury in lane 6.
As we've been saying, we've been out on the course this morning, and I watched the semi-final with the 2 Rob Roy scullers, and they absolutely dominated that semi, getting the 1-2 in that race, and it looks like they're trying to replicate that here.
Oh, absolutely. I was just about to comment about the same thing. We were both, we commentate on races, but we do pay attention to what's happening.
We try to anyway, yeah.
Well, we try to, but we also sort of flag things up that are going to be interesting later on. And there's been so many little flags that I've put in my brain thinking, oh, I must watch that race later on. Must watch that race. And this is one of the ones that I would really wanted to watch. And here we are, watching this race.
Absolutely. It was Taylor of Rob Roy Boat Club who won his semi-final. And it looks like he's just doing the exact same thing against his clubmate.
He's gone out quite hard, hasn't he? And just pulled himself out in front. just to stamp authority on this race. And if you, it's sometimes nice to be out in front so you can watch everything happen behind you and just take time to just settle yourself. But he's out in front and he's still motoring on there, isn't he? He's a very powerful sculler.
Yeah, looking very good there at the Rob Roy Sculler as we move on down the course.
And a lovely performance from Taylor of Rob Roy there, and that is a substantial margin of advantage that he has. And it's Clare's Court in that second place now. Clare's Court second, Gloucester Hartpury third, and Cambridge 99 fourth. And then over on the far side, it must be the other Rob Roy sculler. So yes, it's cracking race going on there. I think sculling sometimes a bit of mind games as well. There's the psychology of racing. Get out hard and fast and sit out in front and make that lead you have look unassailable to the scullers, who have to look round, and the further they have to look round, the bigger the distance looks.
Absolutely, yes. And we can just see on the bottom of our screen's bottom left corner, it is underway with the next race. That's the B final of the J16 doubles. But we'll stick with the A final of the J18 single and bring you that J16 doubles race once this singles has wrapped up. But we're coming to the final stages of that race, and it is still Taylor of Rob Roy Boat Club very much out in front, in control of this A final. Behind him though, the race for second place is well and truly on.
Oh, indeed it is. Clare's Court, Gloucester Hartpury and the other Rob Roy sculler, I think, are up in contention for silver and bronze. It will come down to what can they do in this last 250 metres.
Yes, we're seeing the charge come from Clare's Court School just on the bottom of your picture, and he's just raising his rate of striking, just trying to push through the Gloucester Hartpury sculler next to him, and I think he's gone through, Carol.
I think he possibly has. Both these scullers have left the other Rob Roy sculler behind, and this is where the race is on for silver and bronze. Rob Roy sculler Taylor is well in charge of his race, and he is just managing to control his race, but it's Clare's Court still in that second place. Wow.
Another fantastic sprint we're seeing in the final stages. It is Rob Roy who takes first place, gold medal in this J18 single scull. And on the line, I believe, yes, Clare's Court School steals the silver medal ahead of Cambridge 99.
Oh, I thought that was Gloucester
Hartpury.
Yeah, on the inside. Wow, what a finish that was for these scullers, and what a race from Taylor of Rob Roy. He's a powerful sculler. Indeed.
Yes, he's definitely got a bright future ahead of him, and we can see now in the bottom left we are riding with the B final of the J16 double sculls, and we will bring you the roll call for that now. Lane 1, it is Clare's Court School. George Watson's in lane 2, Maidenhead 3, Hinksey in 4, Lee in 5, and on the far side Broxburn Rowing Club. And as we go through the 1,000 metre mark, it looks to be Maidenhead and George Watson's in that 1-2 position.
Indeed it does. And as I've said earlier, some really nice double sculling from these athletes. Some of them are moving their boats very nicely indeed. And it's in the middle of the course where we're having the battle. It's George Watson's College, Maidenhead and Hinksey sculling school there that we can see with the bright blue kit. I can't see the Lee double at all because usually that orange is very visible from a distance.
Yes, George Watson's College under new leadership from Matthew Mole this season. So we'll be seeing how his hard work pays off in results this afternoon. And it looks like That Watson's double are just trying to etch their bows out in front of this B final, but going with them though in the middle of the course, in the blue, it is Hinksey Sculling School, and I think sitting back in third position, it is Maidenhead Rowing Club.
And then behind Maidenhead we have Broxbourne out on the far side, and I would assume that we have Clare's Court over on this side. But Watson's there, just starting to pick it up there, just to sort of pull themselves adrift of Maidenhead, and just to maintain that lead they have over Hinksey Sculling School. In fact, that was an interesting move there. They just seemed to have found an extra
gear there.
an extra gear or a bit of an extra on that paid off, big style.
Yes, us Watson's boys can find a gear when required just to kick on in that third 500, and they're doing that now. Very aggressive racing there from those boys, so that's great to see from them. However, we're not going to count Hinksey out of this just yet, and going with them it is still Maidenhead, so Watson's, Hinksey and Maidenhead as we get further down the course. Just got one eye in the bottom left corner on the A final for the J16 double, so we'll just keep an eye on that as they head further down the course. But we're now up in the finish tower. We have the camera on top of that as we come into the last 250 metres or so of the B final of the J16 double.
And it's still Watson's, but Hinksey are just starting to up it again there and just see what they can do. And I think both Hinksey and Watson's want to leave Maidenhead behind as they come into the last 250 metres. Well, lovely performance from Watson's there. Just a real step change in boat speed.
Yes, those boys have been gutted to miss out on the A final after, I think, from what they'll admit, was an under par semi-final performance. But they're showing some redemption here in this B final, and they're winding up for the finish line. But they're just going to have to keep one eye on the left of their boat for Hinksey Sculling School, who they themselves have found another gear as we head towards the Red Boys.
What a finish.
This is going to be a cracking finish from these two crews as we head towards the Red Boys.
Maidenhead's certainly been dropped by these two doubles. It's George Watson's and Hinksey, both sprinting towards the line, both having found an extra gear in that last 500 metres or so. But it's Watson's where they've stepped up again, Fergus.
They have indeed. They were tough racers, us Scottish people. Yes, they've been gutted to miss out on the A final, but they've shown redemption here. They win the B final, punch of the water there, and it will be Hinksey Sculling School who takes second ahead of Maidenhead.
Oh wow, great performance there.
And over on the far side of the course, coming through in fourth place, looks like it will be Broxbourne Rowing Club on the top of your screen, just finishing their race now. And shortly we will be bringing you all the action from the J16 double A final, which is hurtling down the course at some rate of knots. And there we have it on screen, currently riding with Exeter Rowing Club as they go through the 1,000 metre mark. So Loch Lomond in 1, Tideway Scullers in 2, Chesterley Street in 3, Lee in 4, Exeter in 5, and on the far side the composite crew of Trenton Boat Club and Sir William Borlase.
There we go. And yeah, here we have the Lee boat just sitting in the middle, bright orange colours, but it's out on the outside of Lee. It's Exeter leading as they come into this next timing point. Exeter with Lee, and then Chesterley Street. That's Chesterley Street colours and Tideway Scullers School. Loch Lomond just coming into short just now. The white tops with the red hoops. And they're, I think, down in 5th place at the moment in this A final, but it's Exeter on the far side, just up at present.
Yes, crews now deep into the third 500 metre race. This is where you've got to dig deep. You've got to find all those miles you've done in the winter training and see what effect they can have now. But it does look to be Exeter Rowing Club looking very powerful up there on the top of your screen as we head on down towards the last quarter of this race. And there we have it, the camera on the 1,500 metre mark, just showing the damage Exeter have done so far in this race. What a performance they've put together.
Oh, absolutely. They have a substantial lead there, but the race will be on for the minor medals between Chesterley Street, Tideway Scullers and Lee, and that's probably where the race will be at the moment, just with these minor places. But just we're zooming in on this Exeter double, just watching them. Very efficient in their movements, aren't they?
It's a very powerful second half of the stroke, really swinging back what is working for them. What a gap they've opened up, some 4 or 5 lengths or so over the rest of the field. But what a race on for the silver and bronze medal. We have
Lee, Chesterley Street, just pretty much level as they went through that timing point. Tideway Scullers about a length behind them, so Tideway Scullers are going to have to work very, very hard indeed if they want to get into medal position. But it was Lee and Chesterley Street, as I said, pretty much level, nothing to choose between them as we saw them go through that timing point. But it is Exeter's race at the moment. They've got this nice comfortable margin there as they have gone through.
Yes, through 1500 it was Exeter out in front, with Lee holding on to that silver medal, but only just as we head through 1500 metres down towards the finish line, with the banks packed with supporters. I think we're in for a real cracking final here, Carol.
I'm just looking to see what was in the screen, and it's the Women's Junior 18 Quad Sculls, the B final, that will be coming up next. But it's Exeter just leading this field as they come towards the line. I think it's Lee that may have won the battle with Chesterley Street for that second place as they're coming towards us. Chesterley Street not giving up though. They're still battling on, but I think Lee maybe marginally done enough to hold on to silver.
Yeah, it does look like Chester have just taken just a little bit longer to react, just a little bit longer to find those extra gears, and as such Lee have taken advantage of this, and they're winding up for their final sprint as they come through the red boys. We're going to turn back to Exeter Rowing Club. They've had a fantastic 1950 metres, and they're going to enjoy these last few strokes as they come up to the line. They're going to take first place and the gold medal in this, the Open J16 double sculls. And that is how you demolish the field here at the British Rowing Junior Championship. Second place will go to Lee Rowing Club. Fantastic performance from them. And third place, the bronze medal, going to Chesterley Street. Tideway Scullers will come across in fourth position, just missing out on a medal. And then on the top of the screen, the next crew in fifth place will be the composite crew of Trenton Boat Club and Sir William Boyleys. So wrapping up that, we will have Loch Lomond crossing the line, but now we are riding with the B final of the Junior 18 Women's Quadruple Sculls. And Carol, I know how much you love watching quad racing.
I think everybody in the world knows how much I enjoy watching quad racing. Queen Elizabeth High School in lane 2, Mossbourne in lane 3, Sir William Perkins School in lane 4, St Leonard's School in lane 5. And this sort of field seems to be just pulled apart here. I think it's Mossbourne. No, I think that's Queen. No, I think that is Mossbourne leading Sir William Perkins School, with St Leonard's School on their outside. And always nice to watch quads racing. You can just see how the wind's affecting their ponytails as they're battling down the course there.
Yes.
Coming through 1500 metres, it's Mossbourne just going through first.
It's Mossbourne. The comfortable advantage in this, the B final of the Women's Junior Under 18 Coxless Quads. Wow, that's some lead. We've been saying that a lot this afternoon, but they're doing it again. Mossbourne, some lead they have in this B final, and I think it will be Sir William Perkins School, their B crew in this event, going through in second position. But they have a long way to come back if they have any chance of overhauling Mossbourne, but I think it's unlikely. And we'll just see on the bottom screen the A final of this event. The Women's J18 Quads is all kicking off. They're just off the state boats now, and we'll bring you that action later on down the course.
And with the B final, it's still Mossbourne leading Sir William Perkins School. I think in third place it was St Leonard's School. Just they'll come into short shortly, and you'll see the bright red kit as they come into this shot. And there we go. Mossbourne leading Sir William Perkins School, leading St Leonard's School. And in the small screen we can see the start of the A final of the Women's Junior 18 Quad Sculls. All very close together, still at this phase in the race, still early in the race for anybody to have much separation, and we'll move back to it when we're further down the course with the B final. So we're still sitting with Mossbourne here, just leading this B final, just coming into what, sort of 1500 metres or so, and that's some differential,
huge,
not
Carol,
a crew
huge.
in the. Oh, here we go. Sir Williams Perkins just coming into sight now. That is quite a margin there, Fergus. Quite hard to keep racing under these situations when you're so far in front, and even for Sir William Perkins School, quite hard for them to maintain that focus because we've got St Leonard's behind them, but there's still a margin there as well. So big margins in this race.
Yeah, it's almost turning into sort of a head race style with sort of one crew in front of the other. But Mossbourne will have been gutted to miss out on that A final, so they're laying down a performance that shows just how good they are and just how high the standard of sculling is at Mossbourne, and we're seeing that on the screen now. They've blown apart this field, and Sir William Perkins, full credit to them. This is their B crew, so we're still to watch their A crew later on this afternoon. So just the depth that we're seeing from Sir William Perkins as well is fantastic. But as we come into the final stages, it's the one crew we've talked about all through this race. It is Mossbourne looking very strong as they come into the last few hundred metres of this, the B final of the Women's Junior Under 18.
As you said, they've blown this race apart, and that's exactly what they've done, because at one stage I did catch a glimpse. There are 4 boats in this race, and I did catch a glimpse in the distance of Queen Elizabeth High School Bowball, and they were behind St Leonard's School. But as Fergus has said, great performance from Mossbourne there, and managing to maintain that focus and drive just to keep it exactly where they want to be at this phase in the race, just maintaining the precision and just demonstrating for the public out there just how good they can race. And they just into the Red Boys now, Mossbourne Academy. That's just them coming towards the finish line, and they'll be crossing the line shortly. And as you can see, there is a big margin between them and their nearest competitors.
Wow, that was very impressive from Mossbourne.
Oh, absolutely.
Very, very impressive stuff. So the next crew will be Sir William Perkins, just coming into your shot now. But I think we will head back up the course and we'll pick up the A final of this event, the Women's J18 Quads. And there we have it on screen. Lane 1 we have Globe Rowing Club, Cantabrigian going to George Watson's in 3, Gloucester Hartbury in 4, Sir William Perkins School in 5, and in lane 6 we have a composite from the northeast, that is Camus and Tyne. And out in front it's the crew that I expected, Gloucester Hartbury. The fantastic setup they have down there, and they've come here just to show how good they are, and they're doing that here in this A final.
Well, we both said that we were watching the semis earlier on, and Gloucester Hartbury went out in their semi and just laid it down and said, this is what we can do, can you challenge that? And by the looks of things, not really. And they have a commanding lead. They look amazing. When you look at them close, I was standing on the bank at one stage and just watching them. They just look stunning. Great performance there from Gloucester Hartbury.
Yeah, Gloucester Hartbury, multiple winners of the Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup at Henley Royal Regatta. However, this year they were unfortunate to collide with the booms, so that was disaster for them. So they're seeking redemption here at the British Rowing Junior Championships, and they're doing just that. Position A, front of this field, exactly where they want to be as we approach the 1500 metre point. And that's one of the best junior women's quads you'll see in the country.
Oh, absolutely. And, as things are progressing, I think they will be the British Junior Champions, you know. So, and take a major disaster to upset that unassailable lead, I would say, at the moment. But they are sculling very nicely together here. Just laying down the power, and it looks so smooth and so effortless, Fergus. I just... a beauty to watch, indeed.
Yeah, it may look very easy, but believe me and Carol, it's not. They're working very hard, and the effort they've put in to get such a huge lead over at Sir William Perkins, who's currently sitting in the silver medal position. Sir William Perkins themselves have a clear water lead over the crew from
George Watson's Chesterless Street composite.
So delighted to see the George Watson's girls doing so well there. Over on the far side, I think in fourth place, it is the Northeastern Composite, Camus and Time. However, going with them though, and a fight for fifth and sixth, we have Cantabrigian and Globe Rowing Club. Their race that they're having between themselves will only increase the pace of the field as we head down towards the finish tower.
Oh, indeed. And on our screen, as you can see, the huge advantage that Gloucester Hartpury have in this quads race, and it is quite a big advantage. And they've gone out and just taken that race from the very, very start and just stamped their authority on it and just showing the rest of British rowing what they could do, and it's an impressive performance.
Yeah, we can see just down in the bottom left of your screen the B final of the women's J16 pairs, but we are sticking with this quad race all the way to the line. Gloucester Hartpury, fantastic display of sculling from them, and they'll be absolutely delighted with the performance they've put together. An excellent system in place, as we've already said, down in Gloucester.
Just coming into the last few phases, the boys have changed colour. We know we're close to the line, and this crew just cruising on towards the line, making it look so easy and effortless. As Fergus had said, we know they're working hard, because you don't get that boat speed without a lot of hard work, and that is a winning margin.
That is how you win the junior women's 18 quads here at the British Rowing Junior Championships. Second place and silver will go to Sir William Perkins School, themselves a fantastic crew, but when you come up against the likes of Gloucester Hartpury, there's not much you can do. Bronze medal will go to the composite crew, that is George Watson's College. And
oh, look at this race! Oh, wow! Goodness me! Third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. I couldn't separate them on the line.
So
what a sprint for the line for those.
Globe Rowing Club, Cantabrigian, and the Camus Tyne composite crew. Fantastic racing for fourth, fifth, and sixth. And we'll need to go to the finish judges for that one.
Oh, definitely. Right, I'm going to wrap up here and hand over to Will, who's standing in the background, and I'm sure he's going to enjoy talking to you for the rest, or some of the rest of the afternoon, for some of these finals. We've had some cracking racing. Thank you for joining me, Fergus. I'm going to move on now and leave you in peace and quiet.
Yes, thank you, Carol, and delighted to be joined by Will for this, the B final of the women's J16 pair. So in lane 1 we have Chesterless Street, Llandaff in 2, Starport in 3, Queen Elizabeth in lane 4, and over on the far side the composite crew, Queen Elizabeth High School and Chesterless Street. Will, it's great to have you with me.
Thank you very much, Fergus. I've been really looking forward to commentating on these finals this afternoon. Saw some great semi-finals this morning, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of those same crews competing for the medals now. So this women's junior 16 pairs B final is just coming up towards the 1,000 metre marker now.
Yes, and out in front it is the crew in lane number 3. It is Starport Boat Club, showing everyone just how good they really are as we approach the halfway point in this, the B final of the women's J16 pairs. 5 boats in this race, and one clear favourite at the moment. That is, yes, Starport Boat Club in lane number 3. We'll get a better shot as we pan round as to where the rest of the competition is. But one thing we know for certain is the position Starport are in.
Yes, they've just gone through that red buoy that signifies the 1,000-metre marker. You can see that blue board in the background, and it is Starport with a commanding lead in this B final. And they've only left the whole field behind them at the moment. Maybe if they were frustrated they didn't make the A final, and they're releasing that frustration here. We then got the second crew in lane 2, that's Llandaff. They are currently in that second position, probably about a length and a half behind the crew from Stourport.
Yes, and we can see just on the bottom left of your screen that A final, the women's G16 pair A final, just moving up towards the first 500 metre marker. But we'll bring you that race later on. We're going to stick with this B final. And as we said before, it's Starport putting down an excellent display of women's sweep rowing to lead the B final of the event.
Yes, we got quite a spread out field here in this B final. So we've got Stourport and Llandaff out in front. I think in third position it's Queen Elizabeth High School over in lane 4. We'll wait to pick up the camera with 500 metres to go to confirm that. And there we go, so you can see Stourport in that light blue kit. And in the bottom left of your screen in the A final, you can just see going through the 500 metre marker, it is Marlow Rowing Club, I believe, who are going to go to that 500 metre marker with a bit of an advantage over Trentham. But putting our attention back towards the B final in the top right hand corner of your screen, it's still Stourport leading this B final of the women's junior 16 Coxless pairs. They're into their last, probably about 250 metres. No, sorry, my apologies. They're still coming up towards 500 metres to go. They've got about 750 odd metres of their race.
Yes, and if you're enjoying all this racing as much as we are, we would love for you to help secure the future of rowing by becoming a British Rowing Support member for only £32 a year. You can find out more about this by going to britishrowing.org/support us. But yes, we're now coming through 1,500 metres, 500 to go in this B final of the women's G16 pairs, and it is still Starport. But what a push we've seen in this third 500 from Llandaff. And as the camera pans round, it may still be Starport, but only just.
Yeah, Llandaff have really closed down that margin. It was over a length at the 1,000 metre marker. You can see how aggressive they're going, really trying to get the rate up. And it's pushing them up level with the crew from Stourport, and we might see by the time they get to the finish that push has been enough to bring them into the lead. So it's those two crews fighting it out at the front of the field for the win in this B final. Looking down at the bottom left of the screen, you can still see Marlow Rowing Club out in front of the A final. Great shot now there from the finish area, so you can see those crews spread out over the course. And I think Llandaff have pushed themselves through Stourport based off that shot. It looks like they've poked their bows out in front. Llandaff, the crew on the right, Stourport, the crew in the lighter kit on the left.
That's a fantastic third 500 metre move. That's how you get your work done in that third 500. Llandaff now leading this B final ahead of Starport as we come into the closing stages. What a move from them. We can just see in the background, we can still see Queen Elizabeth and the composite crew, Queen Elizabeth Chesterley Street, just rounding off this B final. But the action very much happening out in front. We have two crews locked in gladiatorial combat as we come up to the last few hundred metres. Llandaff's fantastic move there just looks to have etched them out about a length's lead over Starport. But it's going to be a cracking 250 metres, well.
It really is. I mean, just seen in the bottom left going through the 1,000 metre marker, Maidstone, sorry, my apologies, Walton Rowing Club in lane number 1, pushing themselves up into the silver medal position of that A final for the women's junior 16 pairs. But it's still the crew from Llandaff who have that fantastically paced race. They've rowed all the way through, the early leaders from Stourport, and they think they've now got a lead of over a length as they're into the red boys. They're into the last 100 metres, and AF are looking like they're going to take home the B final of the women's junior 16 pairs.
Yes, what a way to win your B final in the women's J16 pairs. They've just completely gone through Stourport with nothing to respond with, and it will be Llandaff who cross the line first place in this B final ahead of Stourport.
That was quite a big margin by the end, so they definitely still had something left in the tank for that last 500, despite that big push that they made to get level with the crew from Stourport. We're just waiting for the rest of the field to come in. We should expect to see Queen Elizabeth High School as our next boat across the line in this B final.
I think we're going to head back up to the A final. I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Will and Tim.
Yes, thank you very much, Fergus. You say I am now being joined by. So I've seen. Seems like I've spent a lot of time in the commentary booth with this weekend. Tim's going to join me for the next hour and a half or so as we just zoom in on that Marlow crew leading the A final of the women's junior 16 pairs. So we've got Walton Rowing Club in 1, Maidstone Invicta in 2, Trenton Boat Club in 3, Marlow in 4, Henley Rowing Club in 5, and Tideway Scullers School in lane number 6. There's Marlow just going through that 500 metre to go marker. And it is, I believe, the crew from Trentham who've now pushed ahead of Walton. They're fighting for silver and bronze at the moment.
So there's been a little wait for these competitors while they completed their semi-final earlier today, and they're back out on the water now and well and truly into the closing stages of their final. They're coming into view of our Finnish camera in not so long. It's going to be a great finish again here, Will, I think.
It really is, and has been a good move there by the crew from Trentham to push through. Trentham were the other winners of the semi-final. Both Marlow and Trentham won their semi-finals by quite convincing margins earlier. It's just as we were on the commentary for that earlier today, and Marlow and Trentham both look very, very impressive, but it's the crew from the Thames in the Oxfordshire area, Marlow, that are currently out in front of this A final of the women's junior 16 pairs. I've been really impressed with their style of rowing. I think they row a pair very well. The movements are very synchronised, especially the sort of body swing through the stroke. Has been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I think one of the things you really look for when you're looking at a great crew is how easy it looks, and these young ladies certainly making the rowing look easy, even in the last 100 metres, where they'll be giving it everything they've got to show the crowds here at the National Water Sports Centre how fast they can make this Coxless pair move. And the blades now flicking in and out of the water, the red blades of Marlow Rowing Club now coming through the red boys into the final strokes of the final of the women's junior 16 pairs.
It has been a dominant performance from Marlow, and they're just continuing to move away from the field and extend their lead. So you can just see as we go to our finish camera, the crew in red from Marlow Rowing Club, they crossed the finish line in first position. So we get confirmation from the umpire. They will be confirmed as the gold medalists and British junior champions in the women's junior 16 pairs. It's then Trentham Boat Club in lane number 3 who do cross the line in second, and then Walton Rowing Club. My apologies, at the bottom of the screen. I've been getting those two mixed up a bit. Just easing off a couple of strokes before the line, looking very, very tired. They should take home the bronze medal.
And the next race is coming down the track towards us at the finish, and it's looking a pretty impressive race in this B final of the Open Junior 18 Coxless Falls between in lane 1 Trentham Boat Club, lane 2 Doncaster Schools Rowing Association, lane 3 Queen Elizabeth High School, lane 4 Thames Rowing Club, lane 5 Clare's Court, and lane 6 Maidstone Invicta.